Welcome back to Magnificently Black. On today's episode, as you know, it is February, Black History Month. We'll be talking about HBCUs. So today we have a special guest all the way from North Carolina. Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name is Tamikia Phillips. I am me, I guess. I'm a graduate of North Carolina A&T, class of 2015, not that long ago, but I still feel old. Um, I am a microbiologist by trade, so playing with bacteria, all the fun stuff.
Mhm.
Courtney and Jen are my friends. We go back a little ways.
Right.
Yeah. Welcome, welcome, Tamikia. Welcome.
I'm happy to
Welcome.
be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you see, we have a video today. We're going to post some video footage. All of us have our HBCU schools on, we here with it. But Jennifer, what HBCU did you attend? And we could talk about that, and we'll just go around about,
all right.
give some facts, give some information about why your HBCU is your HBCU.
All right. So yeah, I went to North Carolina Central University, so right here in Durham, North Carolina. So I graduated in 1996. So I'm an old head. So, but that's where I attended school. Well, of course, one of Tamikia's rivals, but we're going to be kind in this podcast.
Yeah, this is just an all HBCU love podcast.
Right.
That's right.
That's all it is. Be like, so I attended the Virginia State University in Petersburg, Virginia. I am class of 2012. I'm a biology major, so I do I do everything. Anything that's science, I'm for it. If it's technology, agriculture, biology, micro, I'm down to learn anything. So A&T, you could talk your stuff too.
Well, I went to A&T, the illustrious North Carolina Agricultural State University. Yeah, definitely a rival of Jennifer's. But we counted our love. Listen, y'all got that MEAC championship, so we here for it. It came home to North Carolina. That's all that matters.
Exactly.
Yeah, so just like the other institutions, land grant school, founded in the 1800s, I'm a biology major as well. So of course, like I said, I do microbiology. Anything involving science and a microscope, I love it. So yeah.
So I feel like by us going to a HBCU, we are people that understand, as they say, the culture and what is a HBCU culture. To me, a HBCU culture is family oriented. Like I feel like I found who I was. I was just like, I love it here. Like this is making me who I want to be in growing up, because I'm just like, oh, I found friends. I found what I want to do in life. Like I actually went to school and was thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be a doctor. And then I was just like, wait, there's different avenues you could take to be a science person and not be a doctor and not have somebody's life in your hands all the time. So like, what do you think is some of the things that made you want to be like in biology or do science things at your HBCU? Like, was it somebody that before you got to college made you want to be like, oh yeah, I want to be a science major? Or was it somebody at your college that made you want to do that major?
I guess I'll go. So for me, actually, way before college, like as a little kid, I had overly big dreams, which is okay. But once I got older, I realized, girl, what are you doing? I wanted to actually be an aeronautical engineer back in the day. I was like, ooh, I'm going to fly with NASA, like Black girl in space. That's what we're going to do. And then it was like, okay, let me not, because, spacesuits, no. So then I was like, okay, I can be a teacher. And then I was like, maybe not. I love the kids, but I don't know if I can watch your kids and try to teach them for 8 hours. My mental state's not there for that. And so then I transitioned into, let me do something in the sciences because it still ties together my level of learning. I can still potentially teach others about the subject. Um, and then once I got to A&T, my, taking your general courses and things like that, once you become a major apply or solidify your major. My professor, he's passed on now, Dr. Whitaker. He was the best microbiology professor, I will say hands down. Anybody who was able to listen to this, if you went to A&T and you took his micro class, I'm sure you can agree that he loved that subject. He had a go-getter type attitude. He was in your face, but he presented the subject in a way which really made you interested. You wanted to sit there and learn. I mean, I got to class before he did because I loved his class so much. He would meet me in the hallway in the mornings like, Miss Phillips, you're already here. I'm like, oh yes, I am. Notebook in hand, let's go. I
it's like,
love his class.
because when you have professors like that, that makes you want to learn. And it actually, the fact that they actually know your name and know that you are a person, not just a number, I feel like that's what HBCUs also give. Like, they know who you are. So it's like family. That's what everybody's like. Yeah, I'm like, you just telling that story. I'd be like, yeah.
And for me, definitely, I'll jump in there too. I actually was a biology major as well. And coming from a little town from where I'm from is predominantly white. So there wasn't a whole lot of exposure to going to an HBCU. I got all of that from my brother who went to Winston-Salem State University. I went to a homecoming there and I saw the gathering of, Black people and everyone just getting along, laughing, having fun, the parties and everything. And it wasn't all about the parties, but it was just, I wasn't used to seeing Black people come together like that. It was just so amazing to me to have that kind of interaction with a school. So then I decided as well that I was going to go to a HBCU. I didn't care what my grades were. If I could get into any other school, I was going to an HBCU. So I decided, to go to Central. And again, coming from a school in a small town, I really had no idea what I wanted to major in. Didn't know what I wanted to do as far as I was a basketball player. I knew that I wanted to play basketball. But as far as a major, I did not know. But I took a couple of business courses. I actually was going to go into business management, which I'm so glad I did not do because I was terrible in some parts of math. But I was like Tamiki, I took my first genetics class and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this class. And then it was attached to a lab and we had to do independent lab work as well. And I just gravitated towards that. And it's funny, my first job was in cytogenetics at LabCorp. So I just gravitated towards cytogenetics, chromosomes, all this other stuff. And from then on out, I was like, this is going to be my major. Now, it did put me behind a year because I spent, a whole semester doing business. So I had to stay a little bit longer, which was kind of hard for me because I didn't graduate alongside with my friends in May. I had to graduate in December. But I wouldn't change a thing about going to an HBCU. It's an experience that one, as a Black female should, get the opportunity to do. I try to, get my daughter involved in those kind of things. I have not taken her to my school for like a homecoming or anything, but I really would like to. Yeah, I've got to take her so she can see that kind of experience. Now she has a choice to where she can go, but I think that, all little Black girls should experience that HBCU. It gives them confidence. It gives them, that drive.
Definitely.
I was a shy girl coming out of this small town. North Carolina Central brought me out of my shell. I took a speech class. She was like, you have to get up here and do this speech in front of everybody.
You gotta talk.
That's when I began to come out of my shell. And from then on out, I just flourished. So I wouldn't change a thing. So that's my experience with it.
That's why I said, when you said something about like taking your kid to like tours, like I feel like a lot of times that's one thing that some schools in different areas don't do. They don't have college tours for students sometimes, or if they do, they're for other schools that are not represented by our culture. And like, I know our alumni association actually goes to high schools and give pennants out and are just like, here's Virginia State University, come visit us. This is what it looks like. Like we do that all the time.
Yeah.
But I also feel like a lot of
Mhm.
schools, we have to, as HBCUs, we have to give back to our university too. And that's the one thing I know we just be like, yeah, no. Sometimes I ain't got it, but $5, $10, they'll accept it. They take some money.
Yeah.
They'll be like, thank you.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't change. Like you said,
Yeah.
Jennifer wouldn't change anything about going to HBCU.
Yeah, I'm very proud to go into an HBCU, and my husband as well. He went to an HBCU, Howard. So it's in the family, and my daughter knows every bit of it. We just need to get her, now that she's going to high school, it's the time to give her that exposure, give her that that seed.
Take it to the Eagle and A&T game. Take it to the Eagle and A&T game. You don't even have to take it to homecoming just yet. Just take it there. Just give it a little taste.
That's a big taste if it's Central and A&T for sure.
That's a whole lot.
That's the full experience.
She'd probably be like, Mom, when we going back? When is homecoming?
Yeah.
And then you have to take her for be like, well, what type of major she wants? She might go to A&T. You never know.
I mean, she can come home.
Look, as much as I would be disappointed, I wouldn't mind. It's a great school. A&T is a great school as well as Central. They've both come a long way since I've been there. You have a lot of programs that weren't there when I was there. The school is flourishing, both of them. So
definitely,
I wouldn't mind if she went to either.
And see, that's one of the things when I go on different campuses. I know, like we said, this is none but HBCU love. I'm from Norfolk, Virginia. So I went to Norfolk State games all the time, homecomings all the time, because that's the school my family went to. So when I went to Virginia State, everybody was just like, oh no, you can't go to Virginia State. That's little state and rival. And I'm just like, it's HBCU. We love it. We love it. We love it. So that's what it was in our family. But actually growing up, seeing that made me want to be like, okay, yeah, I'm not going nowhere but HBCU. Hands down. That's all it is. But one thing I will say, HBCU did help me explore different journeys of joining an organization. As you see, I got a blanket behind me. Incorporated, which I am a proud member of. But organizations also help you become more of a they help you with speeching and getting out into the community as well. Because I will say that is one of the things, not just Zeta, but also other organizations that I did on campus that helped me be a person. But some organizations that y'all might think that might have helped y'all could talk about it, give you shout outs to whomever, A&T.
Honestly, I didn't join any organizations. I was in, things like the biology club and traveling with them, but I was not. All my friends were in a sorority, and I had every intentions of being in a sorority, but my biology major being behind and declaring my major a little bit later, I just didn't have the time for other outside stuff. I was constantly studying, trying to keep up, because as you know, biology and a minor in chemistry is not easy to do. So if I could do it again, maybe I would. And there's always times that you can, join an organization outside, like as going to graduate school, you can pledge a sorority or get into an organization. Maybe I might do that a little bit later, but I did not join an organization, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't active in other things with my friends, volunteering, tutoring. I used to tutor with one of the sororities there on campus. So mainly that's all I did. But I do feel like organizations are great to be a part of, especially if you're struggling to, find that network of friends and you're trying to, get yourself out there and get into different things. I think those are the kind of things you probably should steer towards in order to get that exposure. But I was pretty independent. I didn't. So unfortunately, I led a boring college life, I guess.
No, boring. Not boring at all. Not boring. Be like, Tamika, what did you do in college? Did you have were you in biology clubs, or did you do internships and stuff?
I did do our biology club. Ours was called Tri Beta. So I'm pretty sure it's probably something similar at Central. with what you're speaking about, Jennifer. So yeah, I was definitely part of that full time, every meeting, always there. I did help out with some of the other organizations that I was in, which were tied into the biology department. So we had things like matriculation programs for when you first came into the university as a freshman. You would go through a program and then you would transition, if you so choose to, as a sophomore to the higher level of the matriculation program. And it just got you out there. Like you did speaking classes about, of course, as science majors, y'all know, listen, then poster board presentations.
Yeah.
Every conference. Every
Right.
conference.
Yeah.
So, right.
This is
Just
what I
pointing.
did.
Yeah. So those were the things that we got exposed to in those organizations within the biology department. So, like you, Jennifer, I try to keep my head down, keep my head in the books because biology is not easy.
No.
I don't care what anybody says. Listen, the sciences in general will have you up here in a corner crying some nights.
Yeah.
But
Like
it's
organic
worth it.
chemistry,
Listen,
anything.
I took it twice. Listen,
Yeah.
organic is tough. So anybody out there taking that, you'll be okay. So
You will.
Just study,
yes.
ask for help, and work
Yeah,
as a
definitely.
team. Work as a team,
Yeah.
okay?
Take good notes. Like,
Yeah.
listen, even if you're the only person in the world who can understand your notes, if you can understand them for you,
Yeah.
that is key. So those are things that, I try to do was, join organizations geared towards my major, connect with those professors, connect with the faculty and
Definitely.
staff in the departments, just to try to be able to, I guess, if you will, have a leg up on some of the other people and try to make those connections. Like, listen, your girl needs some help.
Yeah.
Help me.
Yeah.
Look, I will tell you now, I used to be like, I need help. If you can help me with this, I can help you with what other class. Like it was a trade-off, okay? Like it was always like, what can we do to help one another? It was not like, oh, I'm out to get you, this, because I'm just like, we're here together. We're paying the same amount of monies, like.
And there was times I would stay after and, ask a professor, look, I don't understand this part of it. Sometimes you have to humble yourself and say, I need to go to the professor and say, I'm not getting this. And, he'll help you out if you do that. But if you stand back in the back, hiding, not asking questions, getting in some study groups, that was one of the big things for me. I got into a study group with my first genetics class, and that helped out a lot because we had one person in there that took very good notes. I mean, notes to the point where you'd be amazed. How did you get all that in this one session? Like I was a terrible note taker. And so getting to know people in your classroom, being active and asking questions and being involved in the conversation helps out a lot.
And so, that's what I said, like being, I've had friends that have said they went to PWIs and sometimes it's like that and sometimes it's not like that. They've had both experiences, but whatever class I was in at school, I always had somebody that could help me. If it wasn't the professor, it was somebody in the class. And that's one thing I will say. That's how I felt like I did grow, like bonds were created. And some of my friendships were created because it was just like, oh, well, I need help in English. Can you help me with this? And I'll help you with the science. Like I got the science, but that's one thing I will say, like going to HBCU, you actually learn your fellow classmates, you learn your professors. And I could tell you this, like one of my professors helped me get an internship, multiple internships. So that's why I'm like, if I went somewhere else, I don't think I would have got that same treatment and help and telling me like, hey, this is what you can do. I know you can do this. Like having people back me as a Black female that came in, and it's just like,
Well, one thing that was hard for me is that when I was in college, I mean, it might be different for you, Courtney, because you were there way before or later than I was, is that we didn't have a whole lot of help with internships. That's something we had to go out and get. And that was really difficult, I think, for me, because how do you get with a big independently as a student without a professor's backing, right?
Yeah.
So I think universities have come a long way in having programs where you get in this class and you're automatically doing this internship as well, right? So for me, that was a bit of a struggle. I had to go out and look for it myself. So the first 2 years or 3 years, I had no internship. I was struggling to get internships like around close to my senior year. So I think now it's part of a program where you're able to get that internship, which I think is great, because for me, we had to go out and do it independently. And that was very, very hard. So I would say to a student, if you're going to try to get an internship, you have to kind of make paths towards getting, some help into these big organizations, right? I see my company do it all the time, but it's the school that's kind of helping them, or their mentor or their professor.
Yeah.
But back in the day when I was in school, and I don't want to say I'm an old head, you had to be independent and do that yourself. And that's what I try to instill in my daughter. She kind of stands back, and waits for someone to help her do that. And I tell her, sometimes you have to go get it yourself. You got to be a go-getter, because there's not always going to be someone there to help you do it.
And see, that's the thing, is I also feel like, could you agree to me, like going to HBCU actually brings that part out of you, like that go-getter mentality of, okay, I cannot stand behind, I got to ask questions.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because especially like, in a way, I'm kind of like Jennifer, like when I first started, even though I was in some of these programs coming in, I still had like a shyness about me. I was just like, so-and-so's already got this in the bag. Why am I even gonna try? You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of could start to pick out the super brainiacs of the group, if you will. And you were just like, I can't compare to his grades. Like, what am I doing? But then the more you start to open up and kind of learn about yourself, especially over time, you're kind of like, no, I deserve this just as much as anybody else. I'm going to go for my chance, and whatever happens, happens. But I at least know that when I look back on this situation, I can say, okay, I tried. And that's something that going to an HBCU definitely brought out for me, because like, I had the tendency, kind of like your daughter, Jennifer, to just kind of sometimes shy away from it. Like, I don't know if I can compare, but that's something that, and this kind of ties into, I guess, life as a whole, especially as Black women. Sometimes we do that to ourselves. We kind of put ourselves back a little bit, like, well, we don't compare to Sally and Karen and whoever, like,
we don't deserve that. We don't deserve that when we are the ones that are more deserving.
Right. I tell my daughter, where there's success, there's failure. There's going to be a lot of failures before you get to that success. But when you get to that success, you have to look back and say, if I didn't do this, if I didn't put myself out there, I would have never gotten to this point. So you have to try it. You have to be upfront. And I know it's hard. It's not easy in the beginning to do it. It's something that you're going to have to push yourself to actually do.
Yeah. That's one of the things that's like, that's why I said being strong-minded is something that you do learn there. And then as you grow older, you actually see that is a part of you. Like, and when you look back, you're like, okay, yeah, my HBCU did teach me that, because it's just like, I know that I can do this, because one of the professors that I had said, don't let nobody take your education from you, or don't let nobody talk to you down just because you attended a HBCU. Like, it was like one of the movies that's on Netflix, and they've been talking about how it was Lauren London, and she's like in the boardroom talking to these white men, and they had went to Harvard and she went to Howard, and she's just like, Howard is the Black Harvard. And they're like, oh, okay. And I'm just like, well, I mean, it's a school. She got her education. She did what she was supposed to do. She got her degree. She's good. But so as we tidy up, we have a little bit, we'll finish, we'll come back another time on another episode. We'll have Tamika again. So as we finish up on this episode, tell us some things that you want people to know just about you. Just talk freely. We can talk and just talk about, like, okay, we can talk about it. Do y'all plan to go to homecoming this year? Since it is 2023, y'all can start to plan, and HBCUs do fill up fast. So Is that a yes or no to get
yeah,
homecoming?
yeah, I'm absolutely going, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna take my daughter and my husband, you know, because he went to Howard. I'm gonna let him get a real experience here with the HBCU and how we do it here in North Carolina, because I haven't done that. So I'm absolutely going for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as everything settles in the cards, you know, these coins are right. First of all,
Yeah.
as long as the coins are right, you know, me and my husband both attended A&T. That's where we met.
Oh,
So, yeah, HBCU love story. Um,
oh.
yeah, so we'll probably go this year. Our friend group, you know, we're all Aggies, so we'll probably meet up with them. They're still in Greensboro, so it's easy. We can crash at their place, you know, save some money on these hotel rooms. But yeah, like we'll probably just do that, probably go this year because we didn't get a chance to go the last couple of years because, you know, with COVID being
COVID.
so crazy and COVID is still out and around, still
Mhm.
there. But, you know, 2023, we're like, we feel a little bit better. Everybody's boosted up to the nines. So I think we'll be okay. So
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so I plan to go. Virginia State, we're gonna see what's going on, VSU. So as we finish up, thank you for joining today on our
yeah.
magnificently Black podcast, HBCU Black History Edition. Tune in next time.